Welcome to the most exciting coin discovery of your life. Today, we're diving into the mysterious and ultra-rare bicentennial coins, an ordinary-looking coin with the power to make you a millionaire overnight. If you've got this hidden gem in your pocket, your entire future could change in an instant. Let's unlock the secrets behind this legendary piece of treasure. First, the story of the 1983 D. Roosevelt dime begins during a fascinating period in American history. In 1983, the United States was emerging from economic difficulties that had defined much of the late 1970s and early 1980s. President Ronald Reagan was in office. Inflation was gradually easing, and the nation was entering a period of renewed economic confidence. While Americans focused on politics, technology, and cultural change, millions of coins quietly rolled off the presses at the Denver Mint. Among them was the 1983 D. Roosevelt dime, a coin that most people viewed as ordinary pocket change. Yet decades later, collectors would discover that certain examples of this humble 10-cent piece possessed characteristics capable of transforming a common circulation coin into a highly sought-after numismatic treasure. The journey from everyday commerce to collector fascination is what makes the 1983 D dime one of the most intriguing modern issues in American coin collecting. To understand the significance of the 1983 D Roosevelt dime, it helps to appreciate the history of the Roosevelt series itself. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 following the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, whose leadership during the Great Depression and World War II left a lasting impact on the nation. The coin was designed by renowned sculptor and engraver John R. Sinek, who created a dignified portrait of Roosevelt facing left on the obverse. The reverse features a torch representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch symbolizing peace and an oak branch symbolizing strength. The design has remained one of the most recognizable and enduring images in American coinage. By 1983, the Roosevelt dime had already become a familiar fixture in daily life, but few realized that some examples from the Denver Mint would later gain significant collector attention. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of dimes in 1983, with an official mintage exceeding 563 million pieces. At first glance, such a large production figure might suggest that the coin could never become rare or valuable. However, experienced collectors understand that mintage numbers tell only part of the story. True rarity often depends on survival rates, condition rarity, and the quality of the coins that remain available decades later. While millions of 1983 D dimes circulated heavily through commerce, very few were saved in pristine condition at the time of issue. Unlike earlier decades when collectors routinely assembled mint sets, the absence of official mint sets in 1982 and 1983 reduced the number of high-quality examples preserved by the public. As a result, obtaining a sharply struck, well-preserved 1983 D dime today can be surprisingly challenging. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1983 D dime is the difference between quantity and quality. Although hundreds of millions were struck, many examples display weak strikes, surface abrasions, contact marks, and poor luster due to the high-speed production methods used during the era. Collectors searching for top-grade specimens often discover that truly exceptional examples are remarkably scarce. Coins certified at the highest mint state levels by professional grading services represent only a tiny fraction of the original production. This dramatic decline in quality survivors creates a condition rarity that can elevate values far beyond what the mintage number alone would suggest. The finest known examples attract attention because they represent the best preserved survivors from a massive production run. The 1983 D Roosevelt dime is also known for several collectible varieties and mint errors that can dramatically increase value. Collectors have identified doubled dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and strike-through errors among surviving examples. While major varieties are considerably scarcer than normal coins, they demonstrate how the minting process can create unique collectible pieces. Doubled dies occur when the design hub impresses the die more than once with slight misalignment, resulting in visible doubling on letters or numbers. Off-center strikes happen when a blank planchet is not properly positioned between the dies. Die cracks form after repeated stress causes fractures in the die surface, leaving raised lines on the finished coin. These production anomalies transform ordinary dimes into fascinating collectibles that often command substantial premiums in the marketplace. Understanding how these errors occur adds another layer of appreciation to the coin story. During die creation, enormous pressure transfers design details from hubs to working dies. Any slight movement during this process can create doubled features. Throughout production, dies endure tremendous stress as they strike thousands of planchets every day. Over time, fatigue can lead to cracks, cuds, and other defects that become visible on coins. Although hand-punched mint marks had largely disappeared by 1983, other forms of mechanical and die-related varieties continue to emerge. Most errors are caught before entering circulation, making surviving examples significantly scarcer than regular issues. When collectors discover dramatic errors on a 1983 D dime, demand often rises because such pieces combine historical production anomalies with modern rarity. Condition plays an enormous role in determining the value of any 1983 D Roosevelt dime. A circulated example that is scratched and toned, like many coins found in collections today, may retain only modest value unless it possesses a significant error or variety. However, originality matters greatly. Natural tunning that develops over decades can enhance collector appeal, particularly when attractive colors emerge across the coin's surface. In contrast, harsh cleaning often reduces desirability because it alters the coin's original texture and luster. Professional grading services carefully evaluate surface preservation, strike quality, luster, and overall eye appeal. Coins that maintain original surfaces and attractive tunning frequently outperform similarly graded examples that have been cleaned or damaged. Market values for the 1983 D dime vary widely depending on condition and rarity. Heavily circulated examples generally trade close to face value, while attractive fine and very fine specimens may command modest collector premiums. About uncirculated examples can bring higher prices, particularly when original luster remains visible. In mint state grades, values increase significantly as quality improves. Certified high-grade examples can reach hundreds or even thousands of dollars when they represent among the finest known survivors. Error coins and major varieties often bring additional premiums depending on visibility, rarity, and collector demand. Some top population registry quality examples have achieved impressive auction results because elite collectors compete aggressively for the finest certified specimens available. Registry set competition has become one of the most powerful forces driving modern coin values. Collectors participating in registry programs attempt to assemble the highest ranked sets based on professionally graded coins. Because only a handful of 1983 D dimes exist in the very highest certified grades, competition among advanced collectors can become intense. When two or more registry participants pursue the same top population coin, auction prices may rise dramatically. These record-setting sales are not simply about owning a dime. They reflect the pursuit of perfection, rarity, and prestige within the collecting community. Ultimately, the 1983 D Roosevelt dime demonstrates how an ordinary 10-cent coin can evolve into a prized collectible. Through exceptional preservation, rare minting errors, extraordinary tunning, or elite registry status, this small piece of American history reminds us that the story of the 1984 D Roosevelt dime begins in a year filled with optimism, technological advancement, and economic momentum in the United States. America, was in the midst of a significant recovery following the economic struggles of the late 1970s and early 1980s. Personal computers were becoming increasingly common. The Summer Olympics in Los Angeles captured international attention, and the nation was embracing a new era of growth. Amid these major historical events, the Denver Mint quietly produced hundreds of millions of dimes destined for cash registers, bank vaults, and everyday pockets across the country. Few people paid attention to these small 10-cent coins at the time, and even fewer imagined that certain 1984 D. Roosevelt dimes would eventually emerge as valuable collectibles sought after by specialists and registry set competitors. What appears ordinary today can become extraordinary decades later, and that transformation is at the heart of this fascinating numismatic story. The Roosevelt dime series itself carries deep historical significance. Introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt shortly after his death, the series quickly became one of the most recognized coins in American commerce. The design was created by United States Mint chief engraver John R. Sinek, whose portrait of Roosevelt remains on the coin today. The obverse features Roosevelt's profile, symbolizing leadership during some of the nation's most challenging years, while the reverse displays a torch representing liberty, accompanied by olive and oak branches that symbolize peace and strength. By 1984, this design had already circulated for nearly 4 decades, becoming a familiar part of daily American life. Yet despite its familiarity, the 1984 D issue would later reveal characteristics that separate exceptional examples from the vast majority of surviving coins. Official records show that the Denver Mint struck more than 546 million Roosevelt dimes in 1984. Such an enormous mintage might seem to eliminate any possibility of rarity, but experienced collectors know that mintage figures rarely tell the entire story. A coin's true scarcity often depends on how many examples survive in collectible condition, rather than how many were originally produced. The majority of 1984 D dimes entered circulation immediately, where years of use subjected them to scratches, contact marks, wear, and environmental damage. As a result, while the coin itself is common, finding one with exceptional preservation, strong strike characteristics, and original surfaces becomes increasingly difficult. This distinction between production numbers and collectible quality is one of the most important concepts in modern numismatics. As collectors began studying the 1984 D. Roosevelt dime more closely, they discovered that high-grade examples were considerably scarcer than many expected. During the early 1980s, the Mint focused heavily on production efficiency, and not every coin emerged with razor-sharp details. Weak strikes, minor die wear, and handling marks were common. Coins preserved in mint state grades today represent only a tiny percentage of the original mintage. Even among uncirculated examples, collectors seek pieces with strong luster, clean fields, and fully detailed design elements. The difference between an average mint state coin and an elite registry quality specimen can be dramatic, both visually and financially. This condition rarity is one of the major reasons why certain 1984 D dimes command impressive premiums despite their large original production numbers. The world of varieties and mint errors adds another layer of intrigue to the 1984 D issue. Collectors have reported examples displaying doubled dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, strike-through errors, and other unusual production anomalies. While major varieties are not common, they attract significant attention whenever they appear. Double dies occur during the die manufacturing process when design elements are impressed multiple times with slight misalignment. Off-center strikes happen when a blank planchet is not properly positioned during striking, causing part of the design to fall outside the coin's edge. Die cracks result from the immense pressure placed upon dies during production, creating raised lines that appear on finished coins. These varieties transform ordinary circulation coins into unique collectibles that often sell for multiples of the value of standard examples. Understanding how these errors occur helps explain why collectors find them so fascinating. Every coin begins with the creation of a master design that is transferred through a series of hubs and dies before reaching the production floor. Any slight misalignment during this process can create doubled features. Once in service, working dies endure tremendous stress as they strike thousands of planchets every day. Over time, microscopic fractures may develop, eventually forming visible die cracks or other defects. Occasionally, planchets feed improperly into presses, resulting in dramatic off-center strikes or partial impressions. These manufacturing accidents are unintended, making surviving examples significantly scarcer than standard coins. Because they represent a glimpse behind the scenes of the minting process, collectors often place a premium on well-documented error coins. For many collectors, the most exciting discoveries occur not in pristine collections, but in ordinary circulation finds. Over the years, several valuable Roosevelt dime varieties have been discovered in pocket change, estate accumulations, and inherited coin jars. This possibility continues to fuel interest in examining every 1984 D dime carefully. While most circulated examples are worth only modest amounts, a coin with a significant error, dramatic doubling, or unusual strike characteristic can attract considerable collector demand. Stories of valuable varieties emerging from everyday circulation reinforce one of the most appealing aspects of coin collecting: the possibility that an overlooked piece of change could possess hidden numismatic significance. Condition remains one of the most important factors affecting value. A scratched and toned 1984 D dime, like many surviving examples, may still be collectible, particularly if the tunning developed naturally over decades. Natural tunning often produces attractive shades of gold, blue, violet, or gray that many collectors appreciate. In contrast, cleaned coins frequently lose value because cleaning alters the original surface texture and luster. Professional grading services evaluate authenticity, preservation, strike quality, surface condition, and eye appeal before assigning a grade. Originality is highly prized in the marketplace, and coins that retain untouched surfaces generally command stronger prices than those that have been improperly cleaned or altered. Market values vary substantially depending on condition and rarity. Typical circulated examples in fine or very fine condition generally trade for modest premiums above face value. Attractive about uncirculated examples may bring several dollars, while certified mint state coins can range from tens to hundreds of dollars depending on grade. The highest grade examples, particularly those certified among the finest known by leading grading services, have achieved auction results reaching into the thousands of dollars. Error coins featuring dramatic off-center strikes, significant doubled dies, or other visually impressive characteristics may command even higher premiums depending on rarity and collector interest. These exceptional prices are typically driven by scarcity, certification, eye appeal, and intense competition among advanced collectors. The most valuable 1984 D Roosevelt dimes demonstrate how registry-set competition influences modern coin markets. Registry collectors strive to assemble the finest graded examples of every date and mintmark, creating fierce competition for top population coins. When only a handful of examples exist at the highest certified grades, auction bidding can become surprisingly aggressive. A coin's provenance, certification history, and status as one of the finest known survivors often play a major role in determining its final sale price. Ultimately, the 1984 D Roosevelt dime proves that value in numismatics is not determined solely by age or mintage. Through extraordinary preservation, rare mint errors, exceptional strike quality, and elite collector demand, An ordinary 10-cent coin can become a remarkable piece of American history and a highly prized collectible. Its story reminds us that even the smallest coins can hold extraordinary significance when rarity and condition align in just the right way.